You see people around the world who are suffering.
It's just getting worse and worse every day. Whenever I see adverts for alcohol, I feel disgusting.
There'll be no resources for human beings to use.
We need to be protected.
Today's children face an uncertain future. The climate emergency, conflict and migration, pervasive inequalities and predatory commercial practices threaten the health and future of children everywhere, with COVID-19 and a global economic downturn only adding to these issues.
What we see in the newspapers, in the epidemiological reports, are the consequence of the major pandemic that is affecting our world. This pandemic is called inequity, it is called social injustice and social exclusion.
No country is providing the conditions needed for children to flourish. Strong leadership is needed across communities, governments and countries, as is listening to children and involving them in the decision-making process.
It's the children who are going to say, but this is what I need, this is what we want, and this is what the future of humanity needs.
It's a 1.8 billion constituency. It's their future.
1.8 billion people and their parents. That's a lot of votes.
With bold action, we can and will make sure children have a future.
We really need brave politicians. This is a big transition. It's not easy, it's difficult. And we need voters who will vote for politicians who care and who listen to the science and the evidence.
In this film, we present the key findings of the seminal WHO-UNICEF Lancet report, A Future for the World's Children, to help governments, communities and industry make real change for the world's children. Let's start with the issue of our time, climate change.
I am here to say our house is on fire. We are facing a disaster of unspoken sufferings for enormous amounts of people. And on climate change, we have to acknowledge that we have failed.
Children will experience the worst consequences of climate change.
I think climate change is one of the most important, most overlooked problems out there. We need to be protected from the global warming because it's no fair for our future, because the adults are ruining it.
A lot of people pollute, especially in the seas. They don't like to clean the environment. They cut off too much trees.
I mean, when we watch the news, sometimes it will show like all the ice melting. It makes me feel sad and worried that other kids who are younger than me, they won't get a chance to have a perfect childhood.
This is the air we breathe. We should take care of it.
Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, heat waves, drought, malnutrition, and the proliferation of diseases all take an inordinate toll on the lives of children globally.
Why are we subsidising oil, diesel and gas to the tune of $5 trillion a year when renewables are more economic and cheaper now? Why are 90% of our children breathing unsafe air as a result?
When climate emergencies strike, children suffer the most.
If global warming exceeds 4 degrees Celsius by the year 2100, in line with the current projections, this will lead to devastating consequences for children and the whole planet.
Si la Terre devient inhabitable, l'humanité n'aura aucune possibilité d'émigrer vers une autre planète. Il n'y a pas de plan B. Nous devons préserver notre Terre.
Once we go above 1.5 degrees, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Right now we can make choices and we can change it in the way we want.
So start now, change the world for the better.
Don't look for hope. Look for action.
Children are seeing tens of thousands of adverts a year on billboards and TV, at sports matches and on their phones.
Why are our children in many emerging economies able to identify 1 or 2 cigarette brands at the age of 5 or 6? Why do children in the United States and elsewhere see 4 to 5 alcohol ads per day?
Companies are making huge profits by selling children a lifetime of ill health.
It's weak governments, weak regulations. We know very clearly that it's the food industry which is so powerful. It's the new tobacco today. We know that.
Companies target children using powerful algorithms and social media kidfluencers to promote unhealthy products. Not only are companies selling harmful products to children and their families, they're also harvesting their data to better target them for increased sales and profits. Children are being left to fend for themselves.
Hacia los ads for alcohol.
Más de comida rápida en la tele.
Lo hacen ver saludable y pues en realidad no es saludable.
No es una buena influencia para los niños.
Que se supone que, no deben de mentir a las personas.
I don't think it should be allowed.
Some countries are already taking action to protect children.
From Norway, we have good experiences with limiting marketing of harmful products in general and to children especially.
Hemos logrado que la regulación del etiquetado de alimentos y bebidas no alcohólicas, la publicidad de alimentos dirigidas al público infantil y medidas fiscales para limitar el consumo de bebidas azucaradas ahora sean una realidad en nuestro país.
In addition to national legislation, we need international action on top of greater respect for existing rights and laws to protect children. The Commission recommends adding a legally binding optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of the Child. This would require governments to prohibit or regulate products that should not be marketed to or for children.
Many of these issues are cross-border. They don't stop at borders, and this needs a global approach.
Childhood is a window of opportunity to make huge improvements in a person's life. Evidence shows that a healthy childhood improves physical and cognitive capacities, with benefits throughout the person's entire life. Investing in the health and well-being of children and adolescents even brings lasting benefits across generations and for the whole of society. Healthy, cared-for children with good educations grow into adults who are better equipped to raise their own children and contribute to society for the greater good. And it's cost-effective. Intervening early also costs less than compensating with corrective interventions at later ages. The cost of inaction for not providing universal preschool home visits to follow child development and improve nutrition is substantial and could reach more than 10% of a country's GDP. The evidence is clear. The ethical, practical, and economic case for investing in health and development of children and adolescents is irrefutable, and it's the right thing to do. Not one single country is currently providing all the conditions needed for every child to grow up and have a healthy future. But some countries are doing better than others. In 2015, the world united to agree on Sustainable Development Goals to reduce poverty, improve health, and protect the environment. Yet 5 years later, few countries have recorded much progress. Children's rights are not being delivered.
Sustainability is about every single human being on our planet, not just some people in some places.
The report, A Future for the World's Children, ranked 180 countries on 2 dimensions. Flourishing, how children in the country are doing today in terms of health, education, development and safety. In short, children's ability to lead happy, healthy lives. And sustainability, whether countries are reducing CO2 emissions to provide all the world's children with a healthy future on this planet. Although many high-income countries rank well in child flourishing, they are near the bottom when it comes to sustainability. The reverse is true for lower-income countries.
This is about a shared future. Lots for high-income countries to do. Look at your contribution to carbon emissions. That really changes which countries are ahead and below.
All countries must do better to look after children's health and well-being now and in the future.
It's not only the children in the developing world, but also the children in the rich world who are today facing such an uncertain future.
Governments, civil society, communities, and young people around the world are all needed in the movement to ensure that children are at the centre of all sustainable development policies. All sectors are responsible for children's health and well-being.
Housing, transport, schools, are these safe environments for young girls and boys?
Protection of children's health in the home, immediate environs, and the wider urban or rural area must involve all sectors, such as industry, transport, environment, and justice.
We speak a lot about multi-sectoral action. We also have to support countries in developing the competencies to work multi-sectorally. How people learn to negotiate and advocate and really make partnerships across various sectors.
For national governments, child well-being is rarely an explicit concern for top political leaders and usually is handled by specific departments that often lack the political leverage required. This needs to change. Countries need executive pressure to bring sectors together. These synergies will make the required catalytic change. Responsibility for child health and well-being goes beyond the health and education sectors. All sectors are responsible for making a better world for children and must work together on this basis as equal partners.
El mismo tema, o sea, que en 50 o 100 años yo ya tenga como, supongamos, 45 años o ya sea una adulta, y tenga hijos y esos hijos pues no les dé como oportunidad de vivir.
Rent, bills, everything, all of that.
You can stay jobless or losing someone.
Not knowing if I'm going to be able to make it out there.
There is enough evidence that we cannot eradicate violence with more violence. Children cry out of a world without violence in their homes, in schools, health services, in neighborhoods, across borders between countries.
A global movement for children can't take place without children. Children's voices must be heard as key participants in the decision-making process on policies affecting their health and well-being.
If we truly value children, we must pass the mic and listen hard. Nothing for us without us.
The Landmark Convention on the Rights of the Child stipulates children's rights to be involved in decisions and actions that affect them, to be able to express their views and to have these duly recognised by adults. There is also growing recognition that promoting meaningful participation of children contributes to social cohesion, more equal communities, and helps adolescents make a better informed and more empowered transition into adulthood. Children have meaningful contributions to make. It's up to adults to make time to listen. The world is at a historic turning point. Children could have a future of great opportunity, but stand on the precipice of a crisis, which undermines this very future's foundations.
I would like to live in a world that people would actually make things that are recyclable and not just like straight going into landfill.
I want to grow up in a healthy environment
where there is no shooting or killing.
In a good world where everyone respects each other and not judge each other about their race.
In a world filled with peace and happiness.
The task ahead will be great, but we have the power to correct course, and we must do it now. We need to bring together governments, civil society, communities and children to form a global movement to ensure children are at the heart of sustainable development. We all should ask ourselves in everything we do, are we making the world better for children? As we rebuild a post-COVID world, let's make sure it's better, healthier, cleaner and more equal. Let's listen to the experts, the science, and take action before it's too late. Let's vote for leaders who care. Let's create a future we can all look forward to, generation upon generation. Not only do children represent our hope for the future, they also deserve the best world we can provide them. Only by working together with children at the centre of our political, economic and social action can we make the world that's worthy of them. There are no excuses and no time to lose.
I cannot think of any more important human face than the face of a child who's going to inherit this world.